Metropolitan. Low pro following. Yes, sir. What up? Ja, what up with you, brother? All right, we in the house. Back in effect. Mm-hmm. Hello, Jillian dear. How are you? I actually just had a conversation today with a really good friend of mine, and we were talking about Steph Curry. And Michael, my good man, crack's good. Crack's grand, brother. What's the crack? Pat, I literally had a conversation with my good buddy today, and we had this conversation about running good in. We had this conversation about where Steph Curry is falling into line, because I was asked the question, is Steph Curry a top 10 scorer all time? And my answer is not yet. Not yet. He's not. Will he be? Yeah. At the rate he's going, yes, he will be. No doubt about that. Not yet, though. I'm not saying that he's not going to be, because I am 100% confident that he will be. Absolutely. What's up, Andrew? How you doing, brother? Malik, my man. England is in the house. That's what's up. No doubt. So I absolutely believe that he will be. I just don't think he's there yet. And to be honest with you, Jillian, this is the exact conversation that we had today. It was about how, like, people my age and older, how they're afraid and how they're so mad that this is actually becoming a conversation, and how afraid they are to have it, when I'm not afraid to have this conversation. And the reason why I'm not afraid to have this conversation is because I accept the fact that times change and players evolve and they get better. So the logic was, if Steph Curry were to win the league MVP this year, they win the NBA championship, and for him to win finals MVP, that would be 4 NBA championships, 3 league MVPs, and a finals MVP, and he continues to do what he's doing scoring. So if he's still leading the league in scoring, that'll be the 3rd time in 7 years that he's led the league in scoring. One of them dudes in the top 10, one of them dudes got to come off. I'm not saying that we have to have that conversation. We're already having a conversation. If he were to do that this season, one of them dudes in the top 10 got to come off. They have to. That's the reality of it. One of these dudes absolutely has to come off. No question about it. So when I look at what Steph Curry is doing now, like I said, I got asked the question earlier today, is Steph Curry a top 10 scorer? I don't think he's a top 10 scorer yet. I do not think that he's a top 10 scorer yet. I don't think so. I absolutely believe he will be, though. No question about that. No. I don't think that's a question. I am 100% certain that he will be. No doubt. What's up, Cameron? How you doing, brother? I absolutely think that. And I got asked, it was actually a number of different questions that I got asked today when I was on. I was scrolling through my TikTok, and I didn't answer any of these questions, but they were really good questions. So, one of the questions that was asked was, is Kobe Bryant the most skilled player ever? Well, I think that honor goes to James. I think Kobe Bryant is one of the most skilled basketball players ever, but I don't think he did everything that James did as good as James. No, I don't think so. I don't think he did that. And because of that, I don't think that he's the most skilled player. I don't think so. Does that mean that he's not one of the best skilled players? Now, if I have this conversation, the first question that'll get asked is, have you seen Kobe Bryant 81 points and he scores this? Now, If you want to say he's the most skilled scorer, we can have that conversation. But is he the best skilled player? No. Mm-mm. I don't think so. That's a good question, Cash. That is a real good question. I don't understand how I'm attracting these people who are, religious fanatics and Jesus loves you. And, I don't have a problem with people in religion. I don't got a problem with that, but I'm not interested in that. I'm not. I am not interested in that. I've already said my piece about, where I am as far as a higher power and religion and all that good stuff. But no, I don't want to be a part of that. Absolutely not. Mm-mm. Honestly, Malik, I don't think it's a big deal. Milwaukee picking up Boogie. I think to be honest with you, I don't think he's washed, but I just don't think it's a big deal. Mm-mm. I don't think it's a big deal at all. Um, so yeah, I had gotten asked these questions earlier today. Is Kobe Bryant the most skilled player? Is Steph Curry a top 10 scorer? What else was it? It was some other stuff too. It was good too. I got to go back and do some homework on it. But I didn't think so. I don't think so. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're actually using that. It's interesting you mentioned that, Jillian, because they're using that. I hear that on TikTok, and to be quite honest with you, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's one of them things where it's like somebody using your voice over something, and you thinking, "Yo, what's this about?" I don't. And to be honest with you, I don't think I'm gonna get to 1 million. But if I did get to 1 million, I would consider doing a merch drop. I would. I'd be lying to you if I said I wouldn't, but I would. If KD wins this year's MVP and stays the scoring leader, then leads the Nets to a championship and wins Finals MVP, does he crack the top 10 all the time? Let's see. In the last 7 years, that would be 2 league MVPs, 3 NBA championships. No, not 7 years. I take that back. They won the championship his first season with the Warriors in 16, 17. So that would be 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21, 20. So in the last 6 years, that would be 3 finals MVPs. In the last 8 years, it would be 2 league MVPs, 2 scoring championships, 2 league MVPs, 2 scoring championships, which would make it 4, 5. I don't think KD's a top 10 player yet. Nah. Mm-mm. I don't think he's a top 10 player yet. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I think that would he might move into the top 15. I will tell you that. Mm-hmm. All of them dudes. That's who I'm putting over him, Mark. All of them dudes. All of them. I'm putting Adrian Dantley ahead of him. I'm putting George Gervin ahead of him. I'm putting Alex English ahead of him. I'm putting all of these dudes ahead of him. And you know why I'm putting them ahead of him? Because we're talking about a dude who just got nice over the last 6, 7 years. These dudes was this awesome from the door. Steph Curry was not that awesome from the door. To put him as a top 10 scorer all time. Do you know that Steph Curry? Let's take Steph Curry's name off the let's take Steph Curry's name off the table for a second. I need you to answer me a question. Do you think Scottie Pippen is a top 10 scorer all time? Yes or no? That's a yes or no question. Hang on for a second, Jillian. Do you think Scottie Pippen is a top 10 scorer all time? You do not think he's a top 10 scorer all time. Do you know he's number 62 ahead of Steph Curry on the all-time scoring list? So you're going to sit there and tell me that a guy who's not in the top 30, who's not in the top 50, who's not in the top 60 is a top 10 scorer all time. That's your logic. And I'm not saying that he's not going to be, because I absolutely believe he's going to be. No question about it. I just don't think he is right now. No. What up, Darrell? How you doing, brother? Absolutely, I believe he's going to be. No doubt in my mind. Because the logic is, when I think about Steph Curry as a scorer, I think he's going to break the record before. I think he's going to break the 3-point record before the new year. Right? So, with that being said, I think he's got two, maybe 3 years tops at this level as a scorer. Right? But that doesn't mean he's over, because he could absolutely go play for somebody and just be what Ray Allen was, which is a long ball shooter. He could do that. And then we're talking about something complete. Now we have something completely different going on. Way different. Mm-hmm. No, Sean, I'm not going to see. And it's interesting that we put that on J.R. Smith. How about we get on the fact that George Hill could have iced the game? How about that? George Hill was the one who went to the free throw line and missed those free throws. So Steph Curry has not been averaging 20 for almost a decade. No, he has not. Mm-mm. No, he has not. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's the 2012 season. He averaged 18 a game. And when you're talking about a guy averaging 20 a game for over a decade, it's plenty of guys who have done that. Plenty of guys who have done that. Tracy McGrady did that. You think Tracy McGrady's a better scorer than Steph Curry? Is that fair? Plenty of guys who have done that. Wilt Chamberlain did that. You think Wilt Chamberlain is a better scorer than Steph Curry? Plenty of guys have done that. Alex English had 8-year stint where he averaged 20 plus. So come on, OG. Wait a minute. Wait. Let me make sure I'm understanding. What do you mean he had an 8-year stretch where he averaged 20 plus? What's your point? I don't understand. What's your point in that? He had an 8-year stretch where he averaged 20. What's your point in that? So I'm clear. But your argument that he just getting nice, which is not true at all. I don't understand. I'm a little short on what it is you're trying to say. So let me talk to Mark for a second. So I'm clear on what Mark is talking about. Alex English averaged 20 a game for 8+ years. Okay, keep going. So I'm clear on what it is that you're trying to say. I just want to make sure that I'm clear. Wayne, what's up, brother? OG, your argument is Steph is just getting in Alex English and George Gervin were nice. Okay. And they were. And we talk about Steph Curry in terms of sustainability. I mean, like, what was it, like the 14 season is when he became elite? And to bring up Alex English, that has nothing to do with this, because Alex English had 2,000-point seasons. I think eight of the 9 years of the 80s of that decade. I think he had either 7 or 8 years of that decade. He had 2,000-point seasons. So don't put him in the same category with Steph Curry. That's not the same thing. So let's dead that. No, Steph Curry can't see that. That's completely different. Now, for you to even, you have no idea how good Alex English was. We're talking about a dude who averaged 26 a game for 8 straight years. Dead that. Let's kill that. We're not even going to talk about that. That's absolutely nuts right there. But when I think about Steph Curry as a top 10 scorer, I think that he will be. And I don't think that he's that far away from being a top 10 scorer. Absolutely. But the problem that we have in, what's up, Lennox? The problem that we have in, OG, he's trying to tell you, you got Curry over those guys, and they've been nice. So why? I got Curry over those guys. I don't have Curry over those guys as a scorer. No, I do not. Absolutely not. I don't. I don't have him over those guys as a scorer. No, I don't. And that's what this is about. We're not talking about him as an overall player. This was about him being a scorer, not an overall player. No, that's not what this was about. No. And see that stuff right there. Guys played longer minutes, and then we can't really compare errors. We can never do that. Then that's not something that's realistic. Guys played longer. Well, we're gonna say in 20 years the defense was different for Steph Curry. You couldn't touch a guy during that era. You can say that the defense was softer. You can say that about him. Is that fair? No. I played in the era that I played in, and I did what I did. And when I think about what Alex English, I think about what Adrian Dantley did. I think about what George Gervin did. And I think that those guys are better scorers. So I have Steph Curry in the top 15 all time. I got him 14. I got him behind Bryant, Jerry West, and Oscar. That's where I have him all time. Mm-hmm. I would not say that James Harden is a top 10 scorer. I would not. I would say that James Harden is one of the best scorers, but I wouldn't put him as a top 10 scorer. Because what we have a tendency to do is we have a tendency to get ourselves wrapped up in what's happened recently. Now, let's see, what are we in? 2021? 2021. So James Harden since 20, let's say what, 13? So the 7 seasons that he spent in Houston. So the 7 seasons that he spent in Houston, I think he averaged what, 24 a game? Yeah, I think he averaged 24 a game in the 7 seasons that he spent in Houston. Over the course of that time, I think he averaged 24 a game over the course of the 7 years or the 8 years that he spent in Houston. Absolutely. No doubt. So mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Of course, a guy will put up more numbers in the season. You're gonna hold that against him, though? I mean, I can't hold it against you if you play him more. I mean, I can't hold it against Chamberlain that he was playing every minute of every game. Absolutely. He averaged 36 in a season. Absolutely, he did. So that puts him in the top 10 of scorers all time because he averaged 36 in a season. All right. Okay. I'm not buying it, but all right. So your logic is that matters, right? And it also matters that Steph Curry played in an era where you couldn't really put your hands on people. Steph Curry played in the freedom of movement era. That matters. If we're talking about a guy who played every minute of every game, if that matters, then not being able to put your hands on somebody and being able to freely get shots, that matters also. That's a big deal. Which Christmas games? People say he played teachers and janitors because the quality is terrible back then. and the players don't look as fast. I've been off that, so I do think that Trae Young is having a great season, and they started slow, and they starting to get it together. And Trae Young looks like the point guard that I didn't not that I thought he was going to be, but he looks like one of the best point guards in the game. You can make the argument that he's a top 5 point guard, no question about that. You can definitely make that argument. Cameron, what's up? What's up, 2K? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Mm-hmm. I do think Steph Curry is up there in scoring. I just don't think he's a top 10 scorer yet. I don't think he's a top 10 scorer yet. I do think he will be a top 10 scorer. Absolutely. And not only will he be a top 10 scorer, if he finishes the season with what I said, somebody got to come off that top 10 list all time. And I don't mean the top 10 scoring list. I'm talking about the top 10 players in NBA history. Somebody got to come off that list. I don't know who you picking, but somebody got to come off that list. Somebody has to come off of that list. No doubt. Mm-hmm. In one season, Michael. In one season. That's it. In one season. I can't fight that. I will not fight that. But in order to be a top 10 of all time, does consistency matter at all? Does consistency matter at even a little bit to you? Or if this person does this one time, that's all that matters. Because when I think about James Harden, I think about a guy who was buckets. But that 36 points, that 30, like when I think about Jordan, for example, Jordan averaged 37 in the season. The next year he averaged 35. The next year he averaged 34. So there's a consistency there when it comes to Jordan. There's a consistency there with Karl Malone, who averaged 27 a game for 11 straight years. So there's a consistency with Wilt Chamberlain. There's a consistency with Kobe Bryant, guys like that. Kevin Durant. There's a consistency with these guys. A dude averaged 36 a game. I can't fight that. And I will not fight that. But when we talking about a dude being consistent and moving into the top 10 all time, man, you to just throw that name, to just throw that out loosely, that's that's tough right there, yo. That's definitely tough for me. That's not something that I can. That's not something that I could that I could just throw out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 36 a game. When did he average 34? Go, Michael. What seasons did he average 34? Yeah, I'm not gonna go that far. Mm-hmm. And then, hmm. Yo, hang on for 1 second. Excuse me. Hang on for 1 second. Pardon me. Right back. Sorry. Yo, my fault. I apologize. We're good. Well, when I think about James Harden, I mean, he did have like I said, he had a 8-year stretch where in Houston, I think he averaged 25 a game in them 8 years, including he had a 4-year stretch where he averaged something like 30, 31, 32 a game for like 4 straight years. But to put him in the top 10 all time as a scorer, I mean, we're talking about a guy who wasn't very efficient, but I won't even bring stuff like efficiency into the game. We just talking about a dude that's buckets, right? We're talking about a dude that's buckets, and we talking about a guy that's buckets. I think James Harden is one of the best scorers in the game, but to say that he's a top 10 scorer all time, no, he did not. He did not average 30 a game over the 8 years that he played in Houston. I think he averaged, let's see, first year he played there, he averaged 26. The second year he played there, he averaged 27. And he had them 3 years where he went 30, 34. I'm sorry, he went 30, 36. He went 29, 29, 30, 36, 34. And then he went down to 24. So when we talking about a dude who, we talking about a guy who had a stretch. Yes, he did have he did have a stretch, but 30 for 8 years. I mean, that's the best. It ain't many guys who can say that they've done that. For 8 straight years, dude averaged 30 a game. Who doing that? Hmm. 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 Well, you can't ask him that. And the reason why you can't ask him that because he already biased. All right. So when I think about the best scorers in the history of the game, Jordan, James, Jabbar, Oscar, Durant, Jerry West, Dominique Wilkins. I said Durant already. I'm sorry, Bryant. I can't leave him out. Absolutely not. And this is not in any particular order, but Bryant, Alex English, Adrian Dantley, and I'm sure that I left Malone, Jabbar. I'm pretty sure I said Jabbar. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said Jabbar. Yeah. Allen Iverson also. I said Wilt. I did say Chamberlain. No, I don't play basketball anymore. There's no way we taking Oscar out, Michael. You nuts for saying that. Just so you know, Oscar averaged 30 a game for 8 straight years. 8 straight years, Oscar averaged 30 a game. So we're not taking him out. Nope. Oscar don't come out. Jerry West had a 5-year stretch in the playoffs. In the playoffs, he had a 5-year stretch where he averaged 35 a game and averaged 38 a game in the finals. They gave him the finals MVP. He averaged 38 a game in that series. Jerry West stays. So try again. Nope, Mark, it don't. Or what it does, if it's in January, absolutely. But if it's in the playoffs, no, it don't matter. Nope. That does not matter at all. Nobody's saying that what Harden did and when he averaged 36 a game, Nobody's saying Ascar. Nobody's saying that wasn't legit. That's absolutely legit. The issue that we have in here is to put this dude as a top 10 scorer all time. All time. Jerry West averaged 29 a game in the playoffs. 29 a game in the playoffs alone. Jerry West does not come off the list. No, he does not. And not only that, what is your reasoning for Jerry West coming off the list? Oh, so he played. So the people that he played against, that's the issue. So can we? So if that's the case, Oscar. So if that's, I don't know if I said your name right, Ascar, Ahmad Ascar. So if that's the case, can we disregard the entire 60s? Can we do that? Can we just completely wipe this? Can we just wipe that era out? Because just so you know, the same people whose ass Jerry West was kicking, that's the same Celtics teams that they won the NBA championship 8 times in 9 years. That's the same team. That's the same era where Wilt Chamberlain was running around, right? That's the same era where Oscar Robertson was running around, and Hal Greer and Bob Pettit and guys like that. So if you're willing to say that Jerry West was playing against bums, that means that we got to erase the entire 60s and we got to discount everything that Wilt did. We got to discount all the championships that they won. We got to take all of that off the board. Are you willing to do that? That's my question to you. Are you willing to do that? I just told you who his scoring competition was. I literally just told you. Elgin Baylor went almost 40 and 20, and he was in the service. Elgin Baylor went 38 and 18, and he was in the service, my man. So you want to talk about scorers? Oscar Robertson went 30 a game for 8 straight years. 8 straight years. Chamberlain averaged 50 a game one season. And then after that, he averaged 40. So, like I just said, if you're willing to discount what he did, that means that you got to discount everything that everybody else did. Because these same people whose ass he was kicking, they were doing this while he was kicking their ass. So my question to you is are you prepared to do that? Mm-hmm. I'm not no, you're saying that. I'm not, you're not going to put words in my mouth. I didn't say that it was easier. I did not say that. What I did say was, this is what he did when he was playing. And if you're going to discount that, you got to discount everything that happened during that time. Everything, not just what he was doing. You got to discount everything that happened during that time. Nope. Mm-mm. That's not a hot take, yo. That is not a hot take at all. Uh-uh. That is not a hot take to say that LeBron James is the greatest scorer of all time. That's not a hot take to say that. Because there's some people who can make that argument that he's the best scorer ever, no doubt. Mm-hmm. I didn't think about that, John, in terms of my Thanksgiving dishes. No, I did not. I did not post them. I did not post them. No. Do I think LeBron is a better scorer than James Harden? I absolutely think LeBron James is a better scorer than James Harden. Yes, I do. And the reason why I think that is because of this season specifically. specifically because of this season. James Harden, his ability to score, he relies heavily on getting to the stripe. And it's interesting how his scoring has gone down since he hasn't been able to do that. Meanwhile, there are plenty of guys who've adjusted to it just fine. Excuse me. Him, on the other hand, he has not. LeBron can't shoot threes. Well, that's not true. That's not true at all, because LeBron has shot, I think LeBron has shot over 35% from the on the long ball. He shot over 35% 8 times in his career. So that's not true that he can't shoot the long ball. That's not true. We can dead that. Absolutely not. But in terms of James Harden, it's interesting how there are a number of different people who've been able to adjust to it. And him, on the other hand, he's really struggling because a lot of his points have come from the stripe. A lot of his points have come from the stripe, no doubt. Why is he playing with injury? I'm interested to know that too, Michael. Why is he hurt? What's going on with him? And I'm not taking him being injured. I'm not taking that into account. I'm that's not something that I'm interested at all. Why is he hurt? What's going on with him? What do you mean it's just one season? He averaged over the last 5, just so you know, over the last 5 seasons, James Harden averaged almost 11 free throws a game. Almost 11 free throws a game. This dude shoots over 80% from the stripe. So of the, I don't know, 27 a game that he's averaging, he's getting almost 9 of that from the stripe. That's a third of his points. That's a big deal, B. That's a huge deal. You can't just discount that. You can't just take that off the table like that doesn't matter. That matters, man. Meanwhile, Wilt averaged more points than he did, even though he's a far better free throw shooter than Wilt. Wilt averaged more points than he did. Nobody else can say that, Ian. Can't nobody else say that. And not nobody else over the last like 5 or 10 or 15 years. In the 75-year history of the NBA, nobody else can say that they average 25 a game for almost 2 decades. None of them can say that. That's a big deal, man. LeBron shoots 8 free throws a game for his career, only 3 less. Meanwhile, he's still averaging over 26 a game. When he's in the lineup, James averages over 26 a game. James Harden fell off a cliff, B. And you're not selling me the whole he's injured thing. James Harden has never come into camp in shape. This has been going on since 2015. We've had this problem. He's played his way into shape. And the problem that we have now is that he's older and it's catching up to him. And now you want to sell me that he's hurt. No. He's older now and he hasn't taken care of his body. That's the problem that we're having. In addition to him not being able to get to the stripe. Drawing fouls is absolutely a skill. But when you take, make sure we 100% clear on that, Tyler. One more time for the people in the cheap sheets, Tyler, just so we know. Just so you guys know, please do not discount that. Getting to the stripe is a skill. Absolutely. Getting to the stripe is not a bonus. No, you prepare yourself. You put that in your game to get to the stripe. James Harden banked on that. That's why he shot so many free throws. Well, that aspect of his game has been lessened. That aspect of his game has been lessened. So now he's got to be able to score at that level, not having to rely on getting to the stripe now. And that's a big deal. OG, you need to start adding LeBron James total points into the GOAT argument as well. Well, if I add his total points into the GOAT argument, what I'm going to get is I'm going to get, well, who was he doing it against? And he's a stat padder when in reality, number one, no, he's not. And number two, I could very well add in how James was scoring. You know, he's the fastest player to 15,000 points. He's the fastest player to 25,000 points. He's the fastest player to 30,000 points. And he's the fastest player to 35,000 points. Nobody in the history of the game can say that they did it faster than he did. Nobody. Nobody. You can make that argument, Muhammad. You can absolutely make that. You can absolutely make that argument, Muhammad. And you know why you can make that argument? Because it's legit. That's why when I hear, like when I get the question, Kobe Bryant is the most skilled player of all times, I'm thinking, no, he's not. No, he is not. Mm-mm. James was absolutely more skilled than him as an overall offensive player. No question about it. James was absolutely more skilled than he was. No doubt. What did as an offensive player? So when I'm glad you mentioned that, Mark. So let's talk about it. What did Kobe Bryant do overall as an offensive player better than James? I think he shot the mid range better than James. But what else did he do better than James in your estimation? In your research and in your estimation, what else did he do better than James? I didn't. I'm sorry, John. I did not post my Thanksgiving dish. I showed my man Cam 2K. I did show that to him, but I did not post it. So that's as far as I'm going, Muhammad. That's as far as I'm going. He wasn't a better finisher than James. He didn't shoot the long ball better than James. He wasn't better in transition than James. He wasn't a better playmaker than James. He wasn't a better passer than James. He wasn't better in traffic than James. That's as far, Muhammad, that is as far as I'm going. That's it. He was not a better scorer than James. No, he was not. And what did that translate to, Ahmad, in terms of his footwork? Because I saw James's footwork. James got pretty good footwork. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Bryant has better footwork. What did that translate to? Oh, you want a recipe, John? I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to go dig that up. I do think Kobe Bryant is overrated due to his death. Not overrated. I'm not gonna say overrated because I don't overrate him. But I think people talk about him differently now because he's dead, which bothers me tremendously. Because if you felt like that about this dude, why weren't you talking like that about him when he was here? Why? Because he needed to hear that, man. The dude needed to hear that. He needed to hear that, man. It did translate into averaging 35 in the season. Right. It also translated into averaging 32 in the season, too. Don't leave that part out because he didn't just average 35 in the season. He averaged 32 in the season, too. Mm-hmm. He averaged 32 in the season, too. However, James's footwork translated into him averaging 25 over almost 2 decades. Bryant can't say that. On average, I'm 25 a night. That means that over the course of my career, I'm not less. Over the course of my career, you could pencil me in for 25 a night. 25. Kobe Bryant is not more skilled than. And Ascar, let me ask you this question. When you say skilled, I need to understand what you mean when you say skilled. Skilled how? Keep going. What are you talking about when you? This is what I'm trying to get to the bottom of, Mark. Because This is what I need to understand. What are you talking about? And when you're talking about skill, Kobe Bryant about skill. Bryant is ahead of him. How so? Scoring, well, that's not true because James averaged more points than him over the course of his career and in the playoffs too. So that's not true. Footwork, okay, he may have better footwork than James. So, but that's it. So he's got more footwork, even though James does virtually everything else offensively better than him. And there's no evidence to prove otherwise. None. He can do everything offensively. Absolutely, Bryant can. He couldn't do it as good as James, though. Was he as good a scorer as James? Yes or no? Because when I think about 25 a game over the course of 19 seasons, I don't think that anybody else can match that. He averaged almost 30 a game in the playoffs. Bryant can't say that. He averaged 5 a game. Bryant averaged 25 a game in the playoffs. So, with that being said, I'm a better scorer in the regular season and in the playoffs than you. Was he a better passer than James? Was he a better playmaker? No. Ascar, this is what I need to understand from you. This is what I need you to understand. Let's take the opinions off the table because we're talking about facts over feelings. Fact is, I have to accept the fact that Steph Curry, if he does what I think he's going to do this season, somebody's got to come off of that top 10 list. That's a fact. You understand that? That's not in my opinion. That's a fact. If he wins the league MVP, they win the NBA championship, he continues to lead the league in scoring, and he wins the finals MVP, somebody's got to come off that list. That's a fact. I can't discard that, and I can't discount that. So let's take feelings off the table. And I want to talk about what Bryant was better than James at. That's what I want to discuss. Was he better? Was he better than James as a scorer, an overall scorer? Was he better than James? Because just so you know, James shot the long ball at 35% for 8 years of his career. Bryant can't say that. James shot over 50%. He didn't shoot. Bryant shot the mid-range better than him. But James overall was better than him. Now, was he a better facilitator than was Bryant a better facilitator than James? Yes or no? Because we ain't talking about defender, Major. No, we're talking about Bryant as an overall offensive player. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about Kobe Bryant as a complete player. No, we're talking about him as an overall offensive player. The only thing Bryant did better than James, I'll give him the footwork. I think he shot the mid-range better, and I think he was a better free throw shooter. That's it. James did everything else better than him. That's it. Nothing else. And these are the facts. Kobe has a bigger bag. Yes, he does have a bigger bag. Absolutely. But what did that translate to? Explain that to me. If you got a bigger bag than me, if you can do more things, what did it translate to? What did it translate to? You keep saying he's more skillful. How, Major? See, Ascar. Okay, we done with this conversation right here. I'm done talking to you. We're done. When I hear stuff like athleticism and he has no skill, that's what that is. That's feelings. That's you're not talking about facts. Now it's feelings, and I'm out. Okay, I'm out. I'm out. Next thing, I'm good. Next thing. So I'm not taking prime Wade over Kobe Bryant. No way am I doing that. Dwayne Wade was not better than Kobe Bryant. No way. Was he better than Bryant? No way. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And Dwayne Wade was awesome. I made a TikTok about this months ago because I actually had this conversation. I had this conversation when I said when I think about Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant, it brought me back to when I was in college and the conversation between Drex and Jordan. I was a huge Clyde Drexler fan. He wasn't better than 20. He wasn't 23 good. As good as he wasn't 23 good. As good as Dwayne Wade was, and I lived in South Florida. I got to see him firsthand on a regular basis. As awesome as Dwayne Wade was, he wasn't 24 good. Mm-mm. He was not that good. And he was awesome, but he wasn't that good. Mm-mm. How can you have LeBron as the GOAT when you say he has no skill and it's just all athleticism? For 20 years, man? Have you watched this guy? What's really your problem with James? Because it sounds to me like you really got a problem with this dude. Because there's no way that you can have him as the GOAT and say he has no skill. There's no way that you can say that. Because it takes skill to average almost 8 assists for my career. Passing is a skill. Playmaking is a skill. Shooting the long ball, that's a skill. Getting to the free throw line, that's a skill. Scoring in traffic, that's a skill. Playing defense is a skill. These are skills that he's elite at. So when I think about James, and I think about his ability overall, I don't think that he was ever great at one thing. How I do feel about him though is there is nobody who can say that they were better at all of these things than him. Nobody can say that. That's why I think he is the most complete basketball player that I've ever seen. Whenever I talk about James, I think he's the most complete basketball player that I've ever seen. No, we weren't talking about a more skilled scorer. We said the question was a more skilled player. We're not talking about a more skilled scorer. And even if we are talking about a more skilled scorer, it still isn't Bryant. Because it looked good, it didn't translate into more. It did not getting to the basket is a skill. Let's make sure we 100% clear on that. Well, I'll tell you what, Jillian, when I think about I'm glad you mentioned that, Jillian, because let's go over the list of the point guards. Let's see. Russ, Damian Lillard, Ja, Trey, Curry, Fox. I'm not talking about LaMelo yet. Paul. So that's 7 right there. Is Luka a 1? Lonzo. That's good. Absolutely sauce. Lonzo. I already said Trey. So if Luka is a 1, okay, we'll put Luka at the 1. I already said CP3. Shea. I thought Luka was a 3, my man. I did. I thought Luka was a 3. I didn't think he was a 1. I think Luka fits more in that Scottie Pippen, Larry Bird, that point forward mode. I thought that he was more of a 3 than he is a 1. Well, we talking about the better point guards in the game. So I'll go over them again. Russ, CP3, Dame, Trey, Ja, Fox, Lonzo, Curry. So that's 8 right there. Shea, is Shea a top 10 point guard? Is Drew a top 10 point guard? I don't know if Drew is a top 10 point guard. All right. So of those guys, I think LaMelo might be on the outside looking in, but literally right on the outside looking in. Kobe's bigger bag, more shots to score less than James. This is why I need your vegan recipe. That's good stuff right there. I like it. more shot. You need to eat what I'm eating. That's good. I like that. Absolutely. Absolutely. hmm They both got 30 point. They both got three 30-point seasons. And let's see, James went 31 a game one year. His third year, he went 31 a game. I think he also went 30 a game, and then he went 29-9 a game, which is 30 a game. So Ascar, there's no way you think that LeBron James is the GOAT. I don't think you even watch LeBron, to be honest with you. I think that you just talking. I do. I really do. I think that you were just talking. To say that he doesn't get doubled like Kobe. What do you mean he doesn't get doubled like Kobe? You either getting double teamed or you're not. They'll get your blood pressure up, John. Absolutely. Listening to the stuff, listening to the stuff that I listen to. Oh my God, they'll definitely get your blood pressure up, man. To answer your question, Jillian, I think it's going to be a different game tomorrow night. I think that the Phoenix Suns, they play tonight and they got to get on a bird tonight right after the game and they got to head up to the Bay. So I think the Warriors will definitely be ready for them. I think Steph will I don't think Steph is going to have the same game that he had, but I do think that Phoenix sticks to that same game plan. I do think that they do that. And if they stick to that same game plan of making Steph Curry work on defense, which I still believe that it affected his offense, if they stick to that same game plan and continue to dump the ball in to Ayton, particularly in transition, I think that they come out with the win again. hmm I don't think MJ lacked anything, Zillows. MJ was in he was the consummate. He was a definite complete player. No doubt about that. I don't think he lacked anything. Nothing. Hell yeah, I think Giannis is skilled. If Giannis wasn't skilled, let me ask you this question. Is Giannis the only 6'11" guy running around in the NBA? Yes or no? This is a yes or no question. I don't need an elaborate answer. Yes or no, is Giannis the only 6'11" guy running around in the NBA? So no, he is not, Ian, right? Kevin Durant is. So if that's the case, why isn't everybody doing what Giannis is doing? Why isn't everybody rebounding the way he does? Why doesn't every 6'11" guy grab the ball off the backboard and handle it in transition the way he does? Why doesn't every 6'11" guy play defense and pass the way he does? Why doesn't every 6'11" guy do that? If that's the case, if he's not skilled, then why isn't every 6'11" guy in the NBA not doing that? What's up, Jazz? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Everybody relies on athleticism. Steph Curry relies on athleticism. You think Steph Curry would be as good as he is if he was slow? You think Chris Paul would be as good as he was if he was slow? Plenty of these guys rely on athleticism. You think that Russell Westbrook would be as good as he was or as good as he is if he was slow? Plenty of these guys rely on athleticism. Some guys rely on it more than others, but plenty of guys rely on athleticism. So that's not fair. at all. That's not fair at all. Yeah, man, I ain't seen you in a minute, Jess, man. I was wondering what happened to you because I remember you being a regular and then you kind of disappeared. I was wondering maybe what I was talking about. He just wasn't feeling it, so he stepped off. So it's good to see you back, brother. Mm-hmm. Jokic absolutely relies on athleticism. He doesn't just stand underneath the basket and the ball comes to him. So, yes, he does rely on athleticism. When he gets the ball off the backboard and he's handling it in transition, he's not walking the ball up the floor. He's running. He might not be supremely athletic, but he does rely on his athleticism. So, that's not true. He just doesn't rely on it solely. Luca absolutely relies on athleticism. He needs Luca. If he didn't rely on athleticism, he wouldn't be able to get by guys in transition. He wouldn't be able to get past guys or make plays in traffic the way he does if he didn't rely on athleticism. So that's not true. That's not true at all. No way is that true. Just because LaMelo Ball isn't as athletic as Russell Westbrook, just because Joker isn't as athletic as Anthony Davis doesn't mean that he doesn't rely on his athleticism. Yes, he does. He absolutely does. Take over Ty. What's up with you, brother? Running good? Good to see you, my man. I don't know. I won't say, Jillian, that working on your athleticism is a skill. I think it's a skill that you're honing. And so, for example, I can't teach you. So when I think about, let's say you, Jillian, for example, if you come to me, I can't teach you how to run fast and jump high. You can either do that or you can't. I can help you run faster and jump higher. So those skills, that athleticism or skills, you already have that. Now I can help enhance that. So I'm not. I don't think it's an. I don't think it's a skill to work on that. I think you're enhancing a skill more than you're working on it. I don't think it's a skill more than you're enhancing a skill. That's not what I said. What I said was I was running down a number of different players, and what we were talking about, the conversation was about Jason Tatum and when he's just not that guy. And I ran down a number of different guys, and I said that in the 0809 season, I thought LeBron James was the best player in the game, and that was year 6. I thought he was the best player in the game in 0809, and that was year 6. And then I went on to talk about Olajuwon, him being in year 10. I talked about Steph Curry, and I misspoke, and I said it was year 6, but that 14-15 season, I think that was I'm sure that was year 7. So I didn't say he was the best player in the game since '09. I know I did not say that, sir. Defense is an absolute skill, no question about it. You know, the interesting thing when I hear stuff like that, just like defense is a skill, rebounding is a skill, those things are skills that you hone and that you get better at. Dennis Rodman wasn't the same rebounder when he came into the league in 1986 that he was in 1992. He worked on that and he got better as a rebounder. Uh, Michael Jordan wasn't the same defender in 1987. He wasn't the same defender in 1992 that he was in 1987. He got better as a defender. Those are skills that he worked on. He watched film, learning how to cut off angles, learning how to beat guys to spots, to use his hands in better situations. Those are skills. Absolutely. It depends on who you talk to, Jillian, because when I think about when the season started, before the season started, I'm pretty confident that we had a conversation and I said that Giannis was in my I think it was actually on the podcast that I was on, and I said there was three guys that I had for league MVP, and it was Giannis, it was James Harden, and it was Anthony Davis. And I'm standing by Giannis. I still think he's the best player in the game. I think Steph Curry is playing the best. I think Giannis is the best player in the game, no doubt. So if rebounding, so I'm glad you mentioned that, Sel. So rebounding is not a skill, right? Because I think I missed that. Hold on, who said that? Because Sel didn't say that. Sel is just as shocked as I am to hear somebody say something like that. So who said that rebounding is not a skill? Because he's just as shocked. He's just as shocked as I am to hear somebody say some nonsense like that. So rebounding is absolute. Because if rebounding wasn't a skill, then why isn't everybody a great rebounder? You know, if these skills, if these things weren't skills, why isn't everybody doing them? Even though because we have less athletic guys who average more rebounds, who average more assists, who average more steals, right? Who average more deflections. So if rebounding isn't a skill, then why isn't everybody a double-digit rebounder? Why not? No, I do not take the word skill wrong. You actually take the word skill wrong. And the reason why I think that is because I think all you looking at is a person's bag. So if I'm wrong, Steady, straighten me out when you talk about what do you think skill is, Steady, so I'm clear. Anybody can be a good rebounder. It takes effort to get the ball. Absolutely. But you have to know how to get the ball. You have to know how to go get the ball. It's not just go get the ball. No. I can teach you how to slip blockouts. I can teach you how to block out. I can teach you footwork. I can teach you how to hold guys off. I can teach you how to slip a block out. Those are skills that you need to be a rebounder. Now, of course, in the end, it is stick your nose in there and go get the basketball, but there are skills that are added to that. No doubt. Yeah. Yes, I've heard Dwight Howard be called skillful. So what's the difference? So it sounds to me like no Allen Iverson is skillful. So you're talking about skill as a scorer. You're not talking about an overall skilled player. That's what it sounds to me like. It sounds to me like you're just talking about it sounds to me like you're just talking about a guy who is nice with the peel. It sounds to me like you're talking about a guy who can shoot a fall away jump shot. That's what it sounds like to me. Who can throw the ball behind his back and get to the basket. That's what skill is to you. That's what it sounds like to me. If it's not, straighten me out. Absolutely, Janice. I've lost plenty of sports debates. How do you think you get good at something? You got to get your ass kicked in order to get good at something. So you know what it is that you're not good at. Absolutely, brother. I've had my ass handed to me in plenty of debates. That's why I do everything that I can to know what the key to any debate The key to any debate, one of the things that I found out, and I'm going to get to that in a second, is Devin Booker getting left out of the MVP conversation. No, I don't think so. Because just because you're the leading scorer on the best team doesn't mean that you're the most valuable player. Because the same thing happened with Donovan Mitchell last year. You know, was he more valuable than Rudy on that team? But what was I just talking about? I got sidetracked for a second. I got sidetracked for a second. IQ is everything. Yes, it is. Oh, I was talking about debating. I'm sorry. The key to debating, because all debating is it's a conversation / argument. And if you bring something to the table or I bring something to the table, the idea is to debunk it. So in order to have a debate and be proficient in your debate, the most important thing is you have to keep your composure. Number two, you have to know what you're talking about. And facts trump everything. No matter what I think, no matter how I feel, I have to know what I'm talking about. Because the minute you don't know what you're talking about, you get discredited. And anything that you say goes out the window and you lose. You're done. So the most important thing, nothing can trump facts. Nothing. Because you can't argue facts. I can get riled up and but once we talking and you bring in facts, there's nothing that can trump that. Nothing. I actually thought they were going to beat the Hornets last night. That was a great game. That was an awesome game. I'm loving everything I see with. The thing that I dig more than anything about Miles Bridges is he just looked like he was in his bag, man. He looked like in the offseason, he was in the lab. He don't look like the guy. He does not look to me like the guy he was last year. That looked like a different dude. And I love that when I see that because that suggests to me that I'm not playing games. I'm serious about what I do. Absolutely, I'm serious about what I do. No doubt. And I love guys like that. You're not going to see the same dude you saw last year. You're not going to see the same. That's why I was I was huge on Kobe Bryant. I dug Kobe Bryant. I dug Jordan. I dug James, Durant. I dig guys that I see different stuff out of them. Mm-hmm. Okay, facts can be argued. Yeah, they can. That's not your opinion. That's a fact. Facts can be argued because they have to be taken into context. So I can't just state a fact. Okay, James averaged more points than Kobe Bryant over the course of his career. That is a fact. But I have to go deeper into why that's a fact. Because you can argue that. Okay, he averaged more points than him. That is a fact. A conspiracy theory that I believe in wholeheartedly: Lee Harvey Oswald didn't kill JFK. I am 100%. I am 100% all in. I don't believe he did it. I don't think he did it. Wait a minute, Star Wars. I mean, the Blazers didn't they win? I think they 10-1 at home. The problem is that the problem with them is on the road. I think they 2-10 on the road. That's their issue. I think they like something nuts, like 10 games, 9 games over 500 at home. You think he's going to be that good, Midas? You think he'll be a top 10 player in the game? So when I think about Miles, I'm trying to think about a guy that he reminds me of. Wow. That's a good one. I got to think about that. Chilltown's conspiracies. The reason why, Jillian, is because I got friends of mine who one of my best friends, his name is Roy. Roy is a big time conspiracy theorist, big time, and we have conspiracy arguments all the time, all the time. Like he tried to sell me once about, OJ didn't do it. And I'm thinking, yeah, he did. So we dead in that conspiracy theory. He absolutely did it, no question about it. The conspiracy theory that I enjoyed the most having an argument with him was about Osama bin Laden being dead. He actually sold me on it because the first thing I was thinking was, Saddam Hussein, we saw him. You dudes killed bin Laden and we don't get to see him. You just throw his body in the ocean? Nah, I don't think he dead. I'm good on that. I didn't see it. Was it good? I did not see it. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I did. It was paused, and Shannon was talking, and then it paused, and then my face popped up. I did see that. That is true. Mm-hmm. My rookie of the year, March. I before the season started was Evan Mobley. I think Scotty Barnes is looking really good, but I'm sticking with Evan Mobley though. I think he's going to be the rookie of the year at the end of the season. You might be able to make that case. A smaller version of Dominique Wilkins. Ooh. Hmm. What was that chick's name? Courtney. You think she did it? I know we kind of getting off the subject here, but you think Courtney Love killed him? I know he was having real bad stomach problems, and it was almost ready to kill him. That's how bad it was. That's why he said. That's why the word was that was one of the reasons that motivated him. Okay, Midas, we're gonna put this we gonna put this conspiracy theory to bed right now and right now only. OJ Simpson. I don't know if you saw the TikTok that I did, but when they got to the crime scene, there was only 3 different types of DNA at the crime scene. 2 of those people are dead, and OJ is still there. So that means at the very least, OJ was there. All right. He was a 4 trillion to 1 match. So at the very least, he was there. Wasn't nobody else there except them 3. So let me tell you what actually happened. What actually happened was OJ went over there to kill her. And his alibi was going to be he had a plane to catch that night. So he was going to go home after he dealt with her, go home, get cleaned up. He's waiting on the limo driver, jumps in the limo, goes to the airport, and he's gone. Only except Ron Goldman shows up. Damn, I got to kill him too. This is throwing off my schedule. This is throwing a monkey wrench in what I'm doing, which would explain why he was late with the limo driver. If you know that somebody is coming to pick you up, you are not going to be on your couch, especially a limo in particular. You are not going to be on your couch when a person is knocking on your door and you say you're asleep. He wasn't asleep. He was upstairs cleaning up because he was late. This dude was on time. That's the problem. He was late because Goldman showed up. If Goldman doesn't show up, Goldman might still be alive today because OJ did not want to kill him. He wasn't the problem. It was, damn, this dude is here, so I got to kill him too. I can't leave any witnesses. And not only that, when you're in a crime of passion like that, which is the most important thing, usually when you do something like that, you say it eventually. And he said it to Rosie Greer in jail. Rosie asked him, did you do? You want me to say I did it? Yeah, I did it. He absolutely did it. There's no evidence to prove otherwise. None. Do I believe in ghosts? Believing in ghosts would mean believing in a higher power, and believing that there is something else amongst us. And I do believe that. Yeah. I do believe that. His son wasn't there, because if his son was there, there'd be evidence that his son was there. There's no evidence that his son was there. None whatsoever. There is no evidence that nobody else was there. No evidence. None whatsoever. The footprints, the blood, nobody else was there except them three. That's it. Nope. Yes, sir. So, yeah, man. Well, hey, guys, y'all know me. It's about that time to wrap this thing up. And y'all know I love y'all. So I'll probably, what's today? Thursday? I'll probably be on again this weekend. And we'll probably talk some more basketball. We'll talk some more Warriors. We'll talk some more NBA. And I'm definitely down to do it again. I'm hanging around here because y'all hanging around. If y'all ain't hanging around, then ain't no reason for me to be here whatsoever. The only reason why I'm here is because of you guys. If y'all ain't here, I ain't here. So I'm gonna hang around for as long as y'all want me to hang around. When y'all want me gone, I'm gone. So yeah, man, we'll get together this weekend. We'll get together again this weekend. If we don't get together this weekend, we'll definitely get together early next week, like we always do. So till then, guys, take it light, but take it.